Evening. Welcome to Stream Like a Boss TV. I'm Tanya Smith with Get Noticed with Video, and tonight we're going to talk a little bit about structure. This may not be your favorite topic. If you're somebody who is kind of flowy and you like to just go with the flow, but I need to talk a little bit about this. And this kind of is my thing, structure and being organized. So I want to share with you some reasons why I think that structure can really help you if you're starting to create your own live stream series or show. And I want to give you some reasons, some pros, but also maybe a few cons, some reasons why maybe it doesn't always work. So let's talk a little bit about structure tonight. First, what I will do is welcome those of you who are here from my Facebook community. I have several people that I know always show up every Thursday, like clockwork. This is the time that we go live each and every week from our Stream Like a Boss community over on Facebook. But I'm also broadcasting inside of YouTube and LinkedIn as well. So I'm going to give everybody a chance to go get your favorite cup of water, juice, tea, whatever you prefer. And as soon as I come back, we'll dive right into the content and talk a little bit about structure and why it can make for a better live stream. All right, see you in a second. So again, welcome back. Welcome. It's Thursday, and this is when we do our live stream each and every week. I love talking to service providers like coaches, consultants, course creators. If you're a service provider and you are looking to leverage more on-camera content, that's like this right here, on-camera content so that you can serve more people, stand out online, and sell more of your services, then this is the place for you to be. So I am super excited and thrilled that I get to be here one more time with you to serve and support you in some way. I will tell you that this is a real live stream. Like I'm actually here answering questions, engaging with in the chat. I see my friend Irene, my friend and client who is an OG. She knows what to do. So let me go ahead and put that on up right here. If you have been watching my streams for some time, no matter where you are, if you're inside of YouTube, if you're in LinkedIn, wherever you may be, type in hashtag OG because we've been around for a minute now. If you are new to the stream and this is the first time you've ever seen us do this Stream Like a Boss TV series, feel free to type in hashtag newbie. I'm hoping that I can share some type of nugget with you, some type of wisdom or knowledge about streaming and live video that will help you to really build your brand through on-camera content. So look, we're going to talk a little bit tonight about structure, and I did something a little bit different than I normally do. So normally I have my typical background, and I know some of you who are used to watching me are like, where is it? Where is it? I see Michelle there. Good evening, lady. It's so wonderful to see you. Look, I decided to switch things up. And part of the reason is because I have been doing a lot of research and some homework, especially lately around video and how it can impact your brand online and how various social media platforms are using it. Because I need to stay on top of trends to help you stay on top of trends, right? So one thing that I am definitely looking into and experimenting a little bit with is how to disrupt the video algorithm. And one of the things that I've heard and I'm testing is that if you have the same exact scenery each and every time, you can risk not getting as much visibility. So you want to disrupt the system a little bit by changing it up a little bit. And so I changed it up and gave us a different background for tonight. So if you've got questions about that, definitely ask. I'm using Restream. I know somebody's going to ask that. I'm using Restream this evening. I often kind of titter-totter between Restream and StreamYard, but I also have some pals that love Ecamm. So we can talk a little bit about that later as I answer your questions, because I know you're going to have some for me towards the end. But first, I want to dive into this whole topic of structure. So look, one of the things that I absolutely love to do is to when I introduce a topic, I want to talk to you about why it's critical. Like, what makes this important, and why did we even choose this as a topic in the first place? Like, why does it matter to you as a service provider? And here's what I will tell you is that, and Lynnette said, I'm trying to get the backgrounds. I will make sure, don't let me forget Lynnette at the end. I'll make sure to give you some tips on that. But one of the things that I think is really key when I talk about structure is I don't mean it's about being stiff. I don't mean that it's about, um, doing things in such a way that you get bored or that your audience gets bored or that it's so like in a box. That's not what I mean. When I talk about structure, what I mean is that there is some purpose and there is some intention behind the content that you're sharing on video. Much like everything else, any other type of content that you're creating when it comes to the digital space, you want it to be something that is going to be relevant to the people that you serve. It's going to be quality, right? And it's also going to have purpose. There's a reason behind you saying what you're saying. So I want to talk about 3 reasons that I believe structure can be effective and is important when you're thinking about doing live streams. Because here's the thing, when you're doing lives, when you're doing video, you can't just do it one and done, right? It's something that you have to commit to for a certain amount of time or on the regular, as we say, right? So oftentimes when I'm working with my clients in the coaching space, we're talking through like 30 and 90-day game plans, not, hey, I did a video this week and then next month I'm still looking back to see what that video did. No, because you're not going to get the type of results you want unless you have the consistency. So when we talk about structure, it's going to help with consistency. There's 3 things that I want to share with you that I believe are really going to be, there'll be reasons, and I want to discuss each one of them. I'll share each one. And if you have questions, pop those into the chat. If there's any comments on what we're talking about, pop those into the chat, no matter where you are. Now, because I'm broadcasting on LinkedIn Live, I know that sometimes LinkedIn Live comments are not being put into the central space, my little dashboard area where I like to play, but know that I will come back and address and acknowledge, and I am paying attention. Okay, so here we go. The first tip that I want to share with you is that structure works better when you live stream because it helps you to maintain a focus on the topic that you're talking about. So here's what I mean. Okay, there is a difference. There are some people that are chit-chatty people. There are some people that get right to the point. There are some people who plan, and there are some people who just, hey, I'm just going to go off the cuff and see what happens. And look, I'm not telling you that you're wrong in either one of those situations because I feel that there is a place for each and every one of those type of scenarios when it comes to video content as well as any social. And the reason why you don't want to be completely stiff, right, and inflexible with your content is because, especially right now in this moment, it's important for your content and for what you're sharing online to be something that is engaging other people as people. Not just as a number, not just as someone to sell to, but as another human being. It's important that we reach people on a different level. This is one of the reasons why, as you are creating structure, what I encourage you to do and invite you to do is to think about, okay, if there's a certain flow for each one of my lives, if there's a certain way that I want to go about, sharing my content, what does that look like? Just think about that because it may look different for you than it does for me. For me, it looks like I know I'm going to have my introduction. I know I'm going to have a few minutes, maybe even just seconds, right? Where I have a short little video clip to make sure I'm allowing people time to come in and to get that alert and that notice that I'm going live, right? I know that I'm going to cover the why for the topic, like I did just a few minutes ago. I talked about why it's important to think about and even consider structure. Then I know I'm going to dive into the message points, to the supporting points that tell you why or what, right? Based on the topic that I've chosen. And then towards the end, I know I'm going to have a call to action and I know I'm going to have a close, and everything is going to flow in a certain order, right? And that is my style. That's the approach that I use. It's not the approach that everyone uses, but I will tell you why this works. It works because it helps to maintain a focus on the topic at hand. Now, if you're like me, when you see a squirrel, and I don't mean the squirrel that's in the sense of the animal word, but I mean in the sense of, oh my gosh, there's going to be something else that I need to talk about, or I see another comment in here, or there's a question that's leading me off topic. All of these things, right, can distract you and they can keep you from staying on point. And so the people that came and they showed up at the beginning and they were waiting to get the answers to the point that you said you were going to make, they never get that answer. When you have structure and you have some ideas of how your flow will roll and how your video content is going to sequentially go in some type of order, it's easier for you not to get distracted. So you maintain a focus on the topic. So that's tip number one. That's one of the biggest reasons, to be honest with you, that I decided I was going to create a workflow. And so I do teach my clients how to create workflows. Now, the second reason, this is a biggie, and it's funny because I've been doing this guest interview series called Stream Like a Boss Guest Interviews. And so each person that's been coming on has been sharing their tips and their advice and things that worried them when they first started doing video and things they still struggle with right now, right? And one of the things that I heard over and over again is that oftentimes, and it doesn't matter how long you've been doing video, you could just be starting it today, or you could be like me, you've been doing it for a while consistently and regularly, and this still ends up being a thing. Sometimes we get distracted by the gadgetry. So if we have not created structure, if we have not created a routine, and so let me give you a little bit of a taste of my routine. I know that beforehand, especially because I was going to change my background for today, I knew that I needed to make sure that I had certain things in place. I knew that I wanted to have my set properly lit because I was going to be using a different setup. So there's a different setting for my brick wall background than there is when I'm using this outside view. I've got multiple lights in different places strategically. If I were doing this last minute, I would never have been able to set that up properly. And then you would have been looking like, wow, she is such an amateur, right? And even when you are an amateur, you don't want people to know that. Not if you're using your video for business content. You want to appear as professionally as possible, right? So I knew that I wanted to have my outline in order. I knew that there were certain points that I wanted to make and that I wanted to go ahead and enter. Otherwise, how would I be able to pop them up like this, right? I knew I wanted to have them typed up and ready to go, right? So you get less distracted by all the things that are in your dashboard. And I will tell you, there's a lot of things that can be in your dashboard as you're trying to promote or share content on your live video stream. Now, if you're just using your plain old phone, right? You're using your iPhone, you're using your Samsung, whatever it is, your choice of phone, and you just click a button and you go live, that's different, okay? Because there's a lot less that can be messed up. But when you're doing a live and you set your things, set your space up such that it is giving you this look, right? And it's giving you the ability to be able to showcase comments. And look, I'm seeing hellos and, I'm seeing good evening. There's another good evening. Thank you and welcome. I'm sure you're in my group. So if I can't see your name, make sure that you give permission to restream. There should be a link somewhere in there in our description that will let you do that. But here's the thing. I wouldn't be able to do all these things and to manage all of that because it would be distracting. Again, it would take away from the flow of the content that I'm trying to share with you. If I was so busy trying to type things in and put the lighting just right and make sure that my camera had me at the right angle, doing all of that and not having that structure, creates frustration for you and for the people that are viewing, right? A third and final reason why structure can really help your live stream show or series is you're more likely to have people return. If they have a good experience with you the first time, and the second time, and the next time, and they see that you're organized and you're actually going to get the information out to them that you promised you would, they're more likely to come back. And these spaces, these social media platforms where you're broadcasting your videos, they reward you for retention. They reward you for what's called loyalty in viewing, meaning that people who have come to see you before are coming back. They're returning to see you again. And you want that. So when you have some level of structure, when you have a flow, when you've thought through what it is you're going to talk about, when you know that it is relevant content for the people that you want to serve, then that's more likely to be the type of video, the type of content that draws video loyalty or viewer loyalty. So you get rewarded. And guess how you get rewarded? You get rewarded by having even more views. You get rewarded by having more visibility on each of those platforms wherever you're spending your time. So really be thinking about the structure and the flow. And if you have a structure of some sort for your videos right now, if you kind of have some flow, there's some way that you're thinking through with intention and purpose. I want you to raise your hand in the chat and just, give me a high five or give me a like or something and let me know because I'm curious. If you do not, then give me the little emoji that does this. I want to see because I'll be scanning to see how many people actually need some help with this. Miss Felicia, it's wonderful to see you, ma'am. Awesome, awesome. So yes, I love, love, love having structure because it allows me to be able to do creatively what I want to do. It allows me to be able to, and it will allow you to not be distracted and not to take away from the content and from the message that you want to get out into that space where you're playing. So flow and structure can be important. Now, one thing I want to tell you, this is one thing I want to share with you, and you got to really kind of listen to me on this. Flow and structure does not equal boredom. So I'm not suggesting to you that you do the same thing each and every time. Like I said, we want to try to mix it up a little bit because we want to make sure we continue to get seen and we continue to get that boost in the feeds, right? So we need to mix it up a little bit. So flow does not equal, hey, we're going to stay inside the box. There's a difference between when I say flow and structure than saying, okay, structure meaning confinement. Don't be confined to the box. Be creative in sharing what you share. You don't always have to be a talking head. Like I'm a talking head right now, right? You literally could have a mixture of your video with your face and some slides going through and some imagery and some music. And look, the interview I shared last week with Robert Kennedy III. Take a look at that because he's got some really fun and amazing stuff in his videos. Like he's got this little dancing Robert that goes across the screen. I'm not there yet. I don't have a dancing Tanya, which is all good because I don't really do that. but what can you do that is a little bit more creative? How can you shake things up and still be you, still be your personality, and still leverage video content? You can do that even with the structure. You can. So please don't feel like that will take away from you being a creative. I love to create. I love to design things. I love to use graphics and music. And I love to use, let's see if it'll work, my DJ horn. Oh, I don't have it on. I don't have it up loud right now. But yeah, I love that. Look, Felicia says she wants to do the dancing character too. I know. So he was using Ecamm. So you definitely have to take a look and follow Robert Kennedy III. RK3 is how you find him because he's got some tips and tricks on using Ecamm, which is available for Mac users. I'm a Windows person myself, not ready to move to Mac. I know. So I'm not using Ecamm. I use StreamYard or Restream. Tonight I am using Restream. Felicia, you do have a Mac, so you can absolutely look into Ecamm Live is what it's called. Ecamm, Ecamm Live. And there is a very supportive community, from what I understand, that helps you to learn and to, create in that space. So that may be something for you to look into. Lynette, you're laughing at me about the dance. Girl, I know. It's just not me. It's not me. April, I see the hands up. Yes, ma'am. So here's the thing. If you don't have that structure and you want to, and Felicia said the same thing, if you don't have that, one thing I'm going to give you as far as a nugget for you to think about right now is just sit down and on a piece of paper, write out, if I were to create a live stream show or a series, like a regular, consistent video right now, what are some of the things, some of the elements that I've seen in other people's videos that I really want for my own video? Sit down and think about that. That's where you start. Is you examine and you look at other people's live stream videos and you see what you like and what you don't like. It's one of the first things that I do when I work with my coaching clients is I say, okay, so I want you to go and watch 5 to 10 different videos. And depending on the exercise that we're doing, they're going to watch that number of videos of people they admire or people they think they might be interested in or people that are in their niche. And they're going to create a list of do's and don'ts. These are things I do want to do, I want to include. These are things I don't ever want to include, right? So you'll never catch me singing on a live stream video. It's just not going to happen. You probably won't catch me trying to tell jokes because I'm horrible at joke telling. I can never remember the punchline, right? What do you enjoy doing? Include that in your structure. Think about how you can structure and still have that creativity. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, that was so much fun. The interactive feature of your interview with Irene, he had the music going. He was doing the dancing, the party. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Jeanette, yeah, the natural chat at the end. So you love that. So add that to your own workflow. Whatever your structure looks like, it's going to be all yours. And here's the thing, the really cool thing about this is you can change it up. If you don't like it, you've done it a couple of times and you don't like it, or you get some feedback from people you trust. Not everybody is a person that you trust who's watching your videos. Okay. There are people who are intentionally there sometimes just to disrupt the flow. We're not talking about those people, but people you trust to give you constructive critique. Ask them, like, what worked and what didn't work. But the only way you'll truly know is if you put your toe out there, if you try it. And that's what I'm all about, is helping more people to really get comfortable on camera so that you can use more of it. Whether you're an introvert like me, or if you're an extrovert and you love and just process out loud, you love talking and engaging with people. Either way, it doesn't matter what your personality is, you can do video. You can choose to use it. And the structure that you create for it will make it so much easier. I promise. I promise you that. Yes, Jeanette, she said, disruptors are not welcome. That is correct. Irene, yes, girl. I'm usually the last person to get the joke. Yeah, sometimes I'll get it, but I'm still like, I can't remember it to retell it. so I've learned that's not for me. When people try to give you advice and say, hey, you should be entertaining on your videos, you should tell jokes or you should do comedy. I'm like, no, I'm horrible at that. So don't do things that you're horrible at. Don't do things that you feel like you have to do. Do the things that are fun for you. Include that in your flow, in your structure. Yes, Felicia said, my husband is my critic. Okay. And so if you trust your husband to be your critic and he's giving you constructive advice, that's who I would go to. I sure would. My husband watches my videos. Sometimes I don't even know he's watching them because he's in another country right now. He'll watch them and he'll send me a note and he's like, hey, I watched your video tonight. You did a good job. I'm like, oh, well, thank you. Love it. All right. I'm taking a look at your note, Lynette. Let me see this. I've been doing a lot of training the last couple of months, getting comfortable outside of my box. Yes, yes, yes. Look, I need to give you, let me see if I can make it sound louder. I need to give you sound. So let's do that. We got to give her the DJ horn. It doesn't seem like it's that loud to me, but maybe it's working for you guys. Okay. So look, I'm really excited about that, Lynette. That's awesome. I just opened up a YouTube page. I have a lot more to learn, and I truly need this. Yes, yes, yes. Look, it's a whole new world. You just need the courage, is what I see you ended that with. Here's the thing, the more you do video, the more you get on camera, the more courage you will get. Courage is not a destination, it's a journey. It's a journey that is a lifelong journey to have that courage. So trust me, if you do it, if you step out there, you will build the courage, you will build the confidence because you're already confident just by stepping out and putting your face on camera. Yes. And you know, Felicia, this is the best advice that you just put in here. I try to be the same as real life. My husband says, focus on just being me. Absolutely. And that's the thing. One of the things that I know that I started out with, I started out trying to be super conservative in certain spaces, right? I started out like trying to, dress up and, have my makeup done every time and my hair. And I still like to have my hair done and my makeup is decent. Right? But there's some days, and you can look back at my videos and you will see me with the baseball cap on and maybe no makeup. So what I realize is that the message is much more important. If I'm out here for the reasons that I'm out here, I say I'm here because I want to help you to leverage this type of content, this type of media so that you can stand out, serve more people, and sell more services. Then I can't just let my ego get in the way. And you can't either. If you're there to help people because you're a relationship coach and you realize there are a lot of people that are hurting because they have failed relationships that they feel like they can't come back from, right? Or you're dealing with people because you're a financial services advisor and you're trying to help them to get their budget set up and you want to help them to get their money right, or you're a bookkeeper and you're trying to sell them on bookkeeping services, whatever it is that you might be trying to put out into the world, you cannot let yourself get in the way of delivering the message that they need to hear because somebody needs your message and somebody needs your gift, right? So the structure and putting together some type of flow and being intentional, and even if it is simply a few notes on some sticky pads, right? You got sticky notes that you kind of have strategically put around your ring light. I've done that. Whatever it might be that will help you to stay on track with your thoughts and to make sure that you're delivering content in a way that people understand and that it's simplified and that they don't feel like overwhelmed watching you. Because guess what? Overwhelmed and confused people, they just turn it off. They click away. That's what happens. So you want to make it easy. Yes, Stacy said it is easier for me just to be me. I agree. I agree. I love this note. Felicia had a bug fly in her ear while she was on camera. Yes, just let yourself be you. Okay, you just asked really quickly. I'm going to address this. The question was, what equipment did you just use? The one where I had this DJ sound? Hold on. That's my magical Stream Deck. I'm going to be teaching a class on a Stream Deck for my folks that are in Stream Bosses Academy because Stream Deck is a really amazing, it's like a sleeper app or sleeper tool. You can literally do so many different things with it. And I have a medium-sized version, not the super small version, but not the large, the XL. I have the medium version, but I love it. And you can press all these different buttons and things happen. Lights can turn on and off. Music can come on and off. You can have people cheering. Woo! You can have your own. Yeah, so Stacy has a Stream Deck. Yes, ma'am. So then here's the thing. I had a Stream Deck forever, y'all, and I hardly ever used it because I was like, I don't know what to do with that. Just like you, Stacy. It took me several months. I had it. But I was like, what am I doing with this Stream Deck? It took me a minute. So now that I've learned a few tricks and I've learned how to pull things together, I think I can be dangerous enough to teach you how to use it. Lynette, I love this. I'm learning that mistakes are okay and it doesn't have to be perfection. That was my battle at first that came from growing up. And I too was in that space. I felt like, Lynette, look, we're from everything that I've heard you say over time as we've been doing these videos, I can relate to you so well because that was me too. I was the girl with the buck teeth and with the Coke bottle glasses. I shared a picture earlier on my Facebook profile. Some people saw it. I was that person. I was that nerdy girl that nobody really wanted to be friends with because I was always in the books and I didn't talk much. I'm pretty shy most of the time, right? It was an interesting time. Plus, there were some other things that were going on with me on a personal level and with the folks I was around that made it very hard to overcome the fear of putting yourself out there, right? But here's what I will tell you, especially as grown women, and now many of us are women that watch, and some of you are men, as grown adults, as people who have the ability now to choose to walk in our own power. We get to make the choice. Pat, I was a nerdy girl too. We get the choice now. We get to choose to step into our own power. And we get to choose to put aside some of the things that maybe held us back before so that we now can walk fully into who we are and who we're meant to be so that we can share the message that we're meant to share with the people who need us most. And this is why I've always said that from the very beginning, when I first decided to commit to doing a weekly live stream, my commitment was not just to me, my commitment was to the people who may show up. Whether there were no people showing up, or there was one person or two people, to me, it's about the fact that it's always, and here's my mantra, the right time, the right message, the right person. It's always whatever I'm sharing, I pray before I come on that I'm going to say what is meant to be said for the people that show up, because those are the ones that need it. And sometimes people are showing up long after your live stream is over that needed to hear that. So if you put yourself in a box and you confine that message and you decide, you know what, I'm not going to do video because I'm not good enough. Or because I don't have that structure that Tanya was talking about. I'm not ready. Think of the people who are missing out. It's about you. I'm not going to say it's not about you, but I'm going to say it's about you. And it's also about the people who you're meant to serve. So if you're a service provider, you got to think about, how am I serving if I'm hiding? Whatever that might look like for you. Are you hiding? Is my question. And if you're hiding, then I'm going to encourage you and just lift you up right now and tell you it's time to stand out. Get out of the shadows. Get out of the shadows. It's time. Lynette, yes, yes. And look, Irene says, I'm glad to be around some other nerdy ladies. I love it. Yes, yes, yes. Look, I came on to talk tonight about structure, but I cannot help but sometimes deviate a little bit. It is still on topic, but deviate a little bit to speak to whatever the needs are in the community that I'm serving on video. So I want you to think about that as you're thinking through your flow and you're thinking about your structure too. Over time, it will be much easier for you to share what needs to be shared, the content that you've prepared, and then add to that, right? Without being distracted, without chasing the squirrel. Stacy, that's good. Someone is waiting on my blessing to bless them. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes. That needs to be like a poster. I think I might turn it into a poster and I'll attribute it to Stacy. Awesome. All right. Well, look, I'm a little over time. I usually like to try to keep these between 20 and 30 minutes, but I always love to share time and spend time with you on Thursday. So I hope you'll come back. If you're watching live, if you're watching the replay, if there's something here that you felt was helpful for you and is going to help you hopefully get your toe in the water and start doing more video, build your confidence, then I absolutely want you to come back. So make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. And if you want to become a member, and first of all, let me make sure I attribute Stacy's "Someone is Waiting on My Blessing to Bless Them." She has merch for that, y'all. So find Stacy Allen on LinkedIn. Get that merch if you felt that that was something that touched you as well. Definitely come back. So like, follow, subscribe. And if you want to become a member of our community, we have a free Facebook community. It is Stream Like a Boss. You can always find me at whatever platform you prefer to spend time by going to streamlikeaboss.tv. Let me pop that up too. Follow us, stay in touch, get connected. Join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes we move it and we have to be a little flexible because, I've got kids. But most of the time, this is the time and the day that we're here. So I hope you'll join us next time. All right, let me say a few more words. Too extrovert but still terrified of live camera. No do-overs, ma'am. That's okay, Miss April. Get on out there, girl. Get on out there. Because look, the fun thing about live streaming is, oh, I love you too. I love you too. And look, I wasn't someone who was empowered alone. It sometimes takes community and takes other people that are supporting and lifting you up. And that's what I had. And so I want to give that back to you. And if it's doing that, then I'm doing my job. I'm serving. And look, April, the thing about live streaming that I love is that you don't have to be perfect, because what people expect is for you to be transparent and authentic and to mess up sometimes. So, hey, that's why I love this place. I love doing live because I can mess up and you'll forgive me for it most of the time. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful evening. And I will see you on next week. I'm going to say this just especially for my community. I'm actually going to be celebrating a really big birthday next week. So I'm probably going to be offline for a few days because I want to just really enjoy that time with my family and my loved ones. But I will be back on live on regular schedule on next Thursday. So a year ago, I have to put this up before we leave. Miss Pat, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for being on live, girl. Yes, Jeanette, celebrate. That's what I'm going to do. And I hope that you celebrate life too, because you know what? Our days are not promised to us. So again, not put yourself out there now because you don't know when you're not going to be able to serve. So serve while you can. Serve while you can. Thank you for my happy born day. Y'all have a good night, and I will see you on next week, a year older. All right, good night.